Bear down, Bears fans. Reports are that there's a little bit of trouble in paradise down in Houston, to the fact that Deshaun Watson seems to be unhappy with the GM hiring process to go get Nick Caserio from the Patriots, and might be requesting a trade. Question on the table: should the Chicago Bears be all in on a Deshaun Watson trade? Let's talk about it right after this. Now, if you are new to the video, please like the video. Please subscribe to the page, because we do talk Chicago sports weekly, and we don't want you to miss a thing, so make sure that you hit that bell. So, Deshaun Watson, unhappy with the hiring process of the GM, Nick Caserio, the new Texans GM, and might be looking to get out of there. I mean, listen, you have to think about this. The Texans have essentially done Deshaun Watson no favors. They've not built him an offensive line. They've taken away his best weapon, arguably the best wide-out weapon in the NFL. They traded it away for peanuts. And I said peanuts. And then right before they go out and hire Nick Caserio, they're talking with Deshaun Watson saying, look, we're going to include you in the GM hire. We're going to consult with you on the GM hire because we want to get somebody in here that you are going to work well with. We're going to talk with you on a coaching hire as well, because we want to get somebody in here who you want to work with. And then right after that, they go out and hire Nick Caserio without even attempting to make contact with Deshaun Watson. So this has led to Deshaun Watson thinking about, at least, and listen, for Bears fans, it's enough for him to be thinking about it at this point, thinking about requesting a trade. And I wouldn't be surprised if he did. I mean, like I said, they've done him no favors down there. They've literally made the team worse around him while he's been down there. But the question is, should the Chicago Bears be all in on a trade for Deshaun Watson? If you're not all in on a trade, I don't know what you're looking at. Honestly, a couple things to me that you have to look at to say, should the Chicago Bears be all in on this? You know you're giving up a great amount of draft capital. You're probably giving up multiple first-round picks over the next few years. You're probably giving up a couple of second-round picks as well. But to me, I look at it and say, okay, well, Ryan Pace has found better talent later in the draft. That actually seems to be something he's good at. I can't knock him for that. And these early round picks he struggled with, clearly, because if he was getting them right, we wouldn't be sitting here having this conversation right now. And so to me, the picks is the least of the worry for the Bears. And I understand, well, you have to use those early picks to go build an offensive line for Deshaun Watson. We have to make this offensive line better for Deshaun Watson. And to that, I would say, look at how much better the line got while Mitch came in. Mitch has not been a world beater. Mitch has not been great. Mitch is a threat of using his legs. That is the difference between Mitch Trubisky and Nick Foles. And so all of a sudden, defenses can't just rush in and do a straight bull line rush towards the quarterback, because the quarterback might take off. That same effect comes in if you do trade for a Deshaun Watson. So not to say that it fixes the offensive line, like we still have to find talented offensive linemen that can do this job well. But I can guarantee you this offensive line is not worse than the Houston Texans offensive line. And it makes it not as big of a concern immediately. You know what I'm saying? Like you could go out and I think Pace has actually done a decent job with it. Find those guys in the third round, in the fourth round, and have the ability to play above where they were drafted. The other thing on the draft capital argument is, listen, if we're willing to give up what we gave up for Khalil Mack, and I'm not saying that I think that Khalil Mack's time here has been a failure. I'm not saying that I think that Khalil Mack has not made an impact on this defense. I absolutely think he does. But if we're willing to give that up for Khalil Mack, a game-changing player on the defensive side of the ball, we have to be able to do those same kind of things for a game-changing player on the offensive side of the ball. And Deshaun Watson is a game-changing player on the offensive side of the ball. If you look at the Houston Texans and you want to know, okay, well, how did he play this season? You want to know how he played this season with as terrible as they were, with as horrible as that offensive line was? I'll tell you, he was first in passing yards, 4,823 passing yards. He was seventh in touchdowns, 33 touchdowns. He was seventh in interceptions, 7 interceptions. He put up those numbers with as putrid as that offense was, with going through a coaching change in Bill O'Brien, with going through interim head coaches, changes at the offensive line, injuries, suspensions like Will Fuller got for the PED issue. I mean, listen, he went through so much this season and he still put up the most yards out of anybody. He is a game-changing player. You give up whatever you have to go get him. I'm not saying destroy your team, but listen, if you give up multiple first-round picks, and you plan on keeping this regime in place, at least you know you got the quarterback of your future. Oh, and by the way, he's only 25 years old. Now, before I continue with the video, I want to know your thoughts. Should the Chicago Bears be all in on a Deshaun Watson trade? Let me know in the comments below. I'll be down there talking with you as well. I think the biggest thing for me in this whole situation is it shows a focus to the other side of the ball. We've seen that the Bears have tried to continuously build up their defense. They've tried to make their defense better. They've tried to, we've seen that over time. Focus on the offensive side of the ball. Focus on the quarterback position. And listen, you can't change the past. You got it wrong. Mitch Trubisky is the third best quarterback out of that group. That's going to be what it's going to be. You can blame whoever you want to blame for it. Deshaun Watson went through a season of turmoil. He still looks pretty good. So to me, Mitch Trubisky is the third best quarterback out of that group. And it has put you in a position where you possibly have to give up multiple picks to get in the guy who you could have drafted, but you can fix the wrong. Listen, you know when we don't care about multiple picks? When you're winning, because you have a number one quarterback in there who you can trust play in and play out. That's when we don't care about multiple picks. You know what? You think Patriots fans were worried about their first round draft pick over that span of championships they were winning? You don't worry about the picks if you're a winning team. And Deshaun Watson comes in, he's going to make you a winning team. And on top of all that, it allows you to keep some of the players who you might have lost on offense this offseason. You think Allen Robinson's going to get out of Chicago if he looks down and he's like, oh, y'all making moves for Deshaun Watson? Bet it up. And does he have some big cap hits coming? Absolutely. I believe he counts for $15 million against your cap next season if you do acquire him. And then the years after that, we're talking $40 million, $42 million, $37 million, $32 million. But guess what? You've got your quarterback locked up for the next 5 years. If Deshaun Watson does request a trade and the Chicago Bears name isn't at the top of the list, I would be disgusted. Honestly, I would be disgusted because it shows me that you're not trying to make the improvements to find the best quarterback for your team. Because right now, with what you've done this season, with the picks you have this season, you're not going to go out and find somebody as good as Deshaun Watson. What are we talking about? Kyle Trask possibly in the draft? That's what we might be able to get because you're in the middle. You finished in the middle. You're not in the Trevor Lawrence race. So let's see if you can use those picks, use that pick to find something good out of it. If Deshaun Watson does request a trade, the Chicago Bears at dang well better be in on it. And they better be the offer for the number one team in on it. And by the way, send him Mitch back in it. You could probably send him Pace too if we need to. Let's have George make the trade. Just send him Ryan Pace as well. But I want to know your opinion. Let me know in the comments below. Should the Chicago Bears be in on a Deshaun Watson trade if he does request a trade? I'll be down there in the comments talking with you as well. It is your boy Pat the Designer back at it again. To continue watching our Chicago Bears content, click the links here or check the links in the description below. Y'all stay safe out there, Chicago. Peace.